What's up, my people? What's up, my homies? What's up, my friends? I'm Gnarly Bato, and these are Gnarly Times. Well, today I'm gonna talk about Tulare County Jail and the time I was there with my cousin and my wife's uncle. Well, this happened around probably like 2004, maybe three. Well, at the time, I used to have an uncle, right? His name was Sergio, and I didn't have many people in my life at the time, and I I didn't. There was a time I didn't have a job, so I used to roll his pad, right, and just bullshit with him, and he would we'd drink some beer, and he'd create all these things like he little craftsman guy, and that's kind of where I got the things I do to this day. It's kind of from him, like birdhouses, little planners, whatever I make. I got it from him, right? Kind of. Well, anyways, he's uh he had a passing away of cirrhosis of the liver, and that was my mom's sister's husband, you know. Well, he was best friends with my wife's dad, right? So, anyways, this fool he would party a lot, you know. Sometimes he'd be good, sometimes he'd be in the bed like looking like he's dying, and it fluctuated, you know. He was good, then he was bad. Well, at this time, my little cousin had got out, right? His son, and this fool. I don't know what happened. All I know is he comes by his dad, right? And he's like, he come knocking on my door. He's like, crying. I'm like, what's up? You know, and I never seen him cry like that. And I'm like, he's like, Anthony, my amigo, my cousin. He's like, in jail. You know, he guess he ran somebody over, right? And well, anyway, he's like, can you go tell so and so? Don't testify, whatever. And I'm like, do you want me to go like threaten him? Nah. And so I was like, I'll go tell him what's up, see what happened. Anyways, I was a lightweight and I used to drink right at the time, so I was ready, buzzing, right? So and I walked to the pad by myself, knocked on his door like 3 times, and he finally answered. And it was right behind the drive-in, those apartments. Where, and I told him, hey, check it out. What's it called? Don't go tell him to testify. Nah. But anyways, I ended up getting swooped up, right? I ended up walking. They caught me by the fire station. Boom. I went to jail. Well, I'm up in the county jail, right? And I'm they throw me in the substation, portable jail, or actually not county yet, portable jail. So I go up in there, and I probably get in there like 2 o'clock. I get in. Well, I see these names, right? I see my little cousin, his last name on the board. And then I see my wife's uncle. I go, what the heck? Because I knew his last name kind of distinctive, right? And I'm like, is this fool in here too? Well, so I'm up in the substation, and everybody, in the morning they come and take all the chains and open the doors and shackle everybody up. So everybody's all, belly chains, and they're getting transported to Visalia. Bob Wiley's or the county jail in Visalia, or the one outside on the cuts, on the outskirts. Well, anyways, they're shackling everybody, right? They're up on chains, everybody all like looking sad. So anyway, I'm one of the last ones that get out the cell, and because everybody watching everybody get out, right? And so when they see me get out, they see me out, these fools go, they're so happy. My cousin was happy. My old lady's uncle got happy, and this other fool. I don't like to name drop, but homeboy Heartless. And I'm like, he's like, what's up? I'm like, man, what are you here for? I was like, well, anyways, my cousin's in there, right? So we go, they throw us on the bus. He was happy because he was just turned 18, and I've been going through this, going through jail and knew all kinds of dudes. And I'm like 6 years older than him, 5 years older than him. Well, anyway, so I didn't introduce him I was like, hey, it's my little cousin right here, because they didn't all know each other until I went in. So I was like mutual. So we hit the bus all the way to the, I think Bob Wiley's, the pre-trial. I think it was just opening up. But I told him, hey, check it out. Take care of my cousin, because he was going to look at some time, because I think he ran over somebody, hit somebody in front of Walmart. Something like that, some crazy. So anyway, I don't even know. That's how crazy it was, you know. I didn't even think about it. Like, what do I need to go there for? They already got cameras in front of Walmart. They already seen it. What am I going? But that's how when you're drinking, you don't give a shit. And you're up in this life. You're like, I'm gonna roll. I'll be, I'll handle this. Anyways, I ended up going in there, and my wife's uncle, that was his first time, you know, because he ended up doing like 8 years, and eventually did like got 7 and did like 11, 12 years. Like, barely got out a couple years ago. So, anyways, this fool was just, they're all up in there, right? And we go to the jail. My cousin split off with the homeboy, someone else, right? Another homeboys, and me and this fool, my wife's uncle, rolls. So at this time, we went to Bob Whitey's, and they're remodeling 41 and 42, and there was 21 and 22. So they because they're remodeling, so all the other homeboys had 21, 22. So they sent us there, right? So I'm up, and this was the first time I was up at Bob Wiley's, because I had been to the old jail, 60-man tanks or 8-man tanks. So, because I never really stayed there long, because they would pick me up for violations back to Sacramento. So I'd probably be there like 30 days or something. Well, at this time, I did like 3 months, and then they violated me. So they did 90 days, I think, in Bob Wiley's. Anyways, when I was there, I walked up in, right? We had all that shit, and so mind you, this was crazy. So I'm walking in, and you have like a door split off, and if I'm right, it's up top, right? And glass, so they can look down on you. And I told the homeboy, my wife's uncle, I said, "Don't chill, grandma, what's called? Mine." Nah. Anyways, we walk up into the cell, the unit, and you have bottom floor and top tier, and all you hear, it was all wood pile, right? All white dudes and all northerners. And all you heard is, "No, Red," just calling my name. I heard probably like 10 fools call my name, and I'm looking around like, where? Because all you see is eyes through the windows. I'm like, the white homeboys, all the fools were up there. Wait, I couldn't find out. I knew like 10 fools up in there. I knew like 2 white homeboys, a good one actually, and then all these other homeboys I was in YA with in Porterville, and fools were even tripping out like, who the hell is this fool? They cleared me within like hours. Within a day, I swear on everything. I was like, because that's how much all these homeboys knew me, and it was just like a welcome home reunion. It was insane. There's homeboys from Joker and Lazy from Tula, the homeboy Ace, who just passed away, I heard a while back, Heartless was in there. There was probably like 15 homeboys from Porterville, and it was just insane. But I was up in there for 3 months, and it couldn't be my wife's uncle with my Celly, so it was crazy. I was there. It was wild, put it like that, and fools we'd post up, we had post up, it was just insane. But I was kind of glad. I did 90 days, dude. They picked me up and sent me back to YA. And you're like, I'd rather deal with homeboy youngsters than up in the county jail, because it was just wild. Fools getting handled, fools mess up. So it's kind of crazy, but that's where you learn to be on your toes and learn, the real glecha and what not to do, be on your P's and Q's, you're like, that's how I was, at least. And then, not that I did anything wrong, but that's just the lifestyle. You just don't know, because it's, unpredictable. Someone could have a grudge and this and that. It's like, and they'll hold it and take it in there and use it against you, And that's what was the thing. It was a lot of favoritism, and, it was just, that's what I was worried about. People, favoritism, like, homie, that's your homeboy, okay? I understand that, but get off his nuts. Be your own man, homie. Shit, but it was crazy. It was just wild. I was just glad to get out of there, and I told my cousin, good luck, but he just did counting time, so he was lucky to make it out and not go to prison, sometimes people need to go through situations to learn a lesson, a hard lesson, because they go by thinking life's la la la, but life don't always work like that. But I just try to avoid these situations now, and be more responsible and be an adult. Because who's out here acting like an adult? Not many people, you know. Or people my age are partying with their kids. It's like, come on, fool. Who's supposed to be the adult here? Grow up, man. But anyways, it was crazy in the time, and when I was up in there, this fool Heartless, I could ramble on that too. How uh, this fool. Uh, oh, then that's the time I went there because I had seen Heartless, but Heartless ended up shooting this other homeboy or something happened. That's how crazy it was. Fools always red on red, and these fools were shooting the same volume. They tried to punk this homeboy Heartless, and I remember his hand was all swollen. I heard the story because I was in there with him. But this fool ended up shooting the homeboy, because he was trying to take his life, So it's like, and then the homeboy ended up catching him later, in the tank, in the county jail, the main jail. But it's just wild how, like, red on red crime, everybody just favoritism, So that's why you always had to watch your. Even one time when I was up in the main jail, I had rolled up, right? And I'm up in the 8-man tank, 60-man tank, but it was north in the woods. They had locked us, separated us now. And I'm up in there. There's a homeboy, Rudy, from ESV, right? And he's the one with the brother Tank that was in the car with Nate, and I'm up in there and a bunch of homeboys from all over the county. And they don't know about the red on red crimes in Porterville, you know what I'm saying? And how much, it was what it was. But we never went out and said, oh, homeboy did this and this. We just dealt with our problems, with our issues, But I'm here. They're like, oh, I was up in this tank, right? And they gave me the top bunk. And they're like, yeah, the homeboy from ESV's right there. And I go, who? And he's like, what's his name? Jimenez. And I was Rudy. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he's like, yeah. And because a lot of these fools had set up my homeboy Nate, And I was like, so I was telling these homeboys all this story and all the get down about my homeboy Nate got murdered. And these fools are like, just hearing this story, right? And I go, and I was like, oh, let this fool wake up and hear it, right? And then this fool wake up, and he turns around, and I swear on my son now, this fool looked, he turned around like was shocked to see I was in there looking right down on him. And I was like, hey, what's up, Rudy? And he like, then he was on quiet the whole time I was there, telling this story about his brother. But it was wild, the people you see up in there, like, they be holding grudges, and sometimes you just gotta be like, hey, well, let's tell the casa. What the hell you guys do over there, victimizing the other homeboys, bullying us, you know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of fools got crazy, because we were tired of getting bullied, ran over, pushed over. It's like, fool, we can't go nowhere without fools trying to punk us. That's what made a lot of us violent, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I always try to respect food, but they didn't want to show no respect. Be like, hey, homie, we're going to give you what you want. You want to battle, let's battle, homie. But I try to avoid that a lot of times. But, fools think they're the better man, the bigger man. That's what crazy about Porterville is everybody thinks, I'm bad. I'm badder. Everybody's cheating on. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fool, you bad. But anyways, avoid these situations, man. And don't put yourself in predicament for others. Even though you might love them, think about yourself and your family. That's why a lot of people need to stay sober, because we get in these mindsets and don't care about things, and not consider, we're selfish. We just abuse ourselves, and not consider our kids, our mother or father, whatever, whoever loves you. But anyways, I just want to tell this little tale of Celly County Jail, man, and I was glad to be in there 90 days and out. I've been there a few times, like, I don't know, I can't remember, but I wasn't in there. I was in the old jail, not the Bob Wiley's, that one time for 90 days, and I was like, get me out of here, because fools are doing time. A lot of time. Nah. But anyways, I'm Gnarly Vato, and this is a gnarly time in my life. Stay out of trouble.